All right. Good evening, morning, day to you, YouTube. I don't know where you're at. But this is the Superstation, and tonight we're having a debate on everybody's favorite thing, politics. With me, I have Tyler, aka MEM bassist, Justin, aka Metallica Guru, and Kitty Wonder, and our special guest, Kitty Wonder's sister. So,
You, which is Al and I, by the way.
yes. Now that we have everybody on board, let's get this party started. Uh, First things first, we're discussing, I guess, basically what you believe the best form of government would be in today's day and age. I don't care if it's Republican, Democrat, it could be authoritarian. Just state your piece and give a few comments explaining as to why it is the best form of government for now. I'll give the floor to Kitty.
Um, I really don't have much to say, but my sister does, so I'll let her have the floor if that's okay.
Gotcha.
My main thing that has to do with this government and what I pay attention more to anything because it directly affects me is their immigration laws. And it's not technically a political thing, but what I see as what would be better, more beneficial for us is if they took down the borders between Mexico and Canada and combined everything. That way, everybody can have live here equally and have rights as everybody else here. Because my husband was deported and I have two kids here, and I have been left alone and homeless because they took him away from me. And with the presidents always promising to do something about the immigration laws to help those who have done nothing wrong, and for them to constantly lie about it and not do nothing, that needs to stop, in my opinion. Because
Okay.
there are people here like my husband who has done nothing wrong, and yet they get treated the way they do because they don't have the legal documents to be here.
Uh, and is your husband from Mexico,
My
Canada, or
husband's from Mexico. He's been here for 12 years.
wow, that's a long time. Why hasn't he applied for citizenship, if I
He
might ask?
has,
Okay.
and and due to the fact that his ex-wife had him deported because she got mad, he automatically got turned down for his papers.
Okay. So, oh, wow. That
Yeah.
I'm not the expert on uh, international law when it comes to immigration,
It's,
but
in my opinion, they need to find a better immigration law than what they have that works against getting the cartels out of here and leaving the ones that are just here to work and leaving them alone.
I
That's what
understand.
they need to
But
focus on.
well, honestly, I don't believe that with the current state of the government that would happen anytime soon. Because honestly, all politics, be it, left, right, middle, what have you, it's there to maintain a power structure and an economic structure. And right now, it turns out that the way things are is the most profitable for everyone in charge. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that it should remain that way, but as long as it is the way it is and people don't actively choose change in their candidates and the way they form their philosophies, etc., there's not going to be change on immigration or uh, uh, any other
I,
issue
I
that's
understand
out there.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
So yes,
go ahead.
and so honestly, like what I want to know is, do you believe that the current system, the Republican Democratic system that we have in place, and I'm not speaking about like the parties, I'm talking about the actual mode in which we get things done, the system that we have in place, do you believe that is the best form to address this problem of immigration reform in general, or do you believe that there should be some new, better form or different form, if you will?
I believe there should be something different because what we have now is not working.
Okay, and
I
why?
mean, within I'm talking about within the Democrats and the Republicans in general. In my opinion, they're only out for themselves. They don't care about what actually happens to the people. They just care about their money, and that's my opinion.
Okay, and say we were to, okay, we give you the fiat power to create the next government, the next system of governance. What would it look like?
It would be almost the same, except everybody would actually have an equal opportunity here. Because not everybody has an equal opportunity as everybody might think.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily. It would go back to how it was when this country was first created. When we first came here, nobody was required to have papers to be here and to live happily and live a better life than what they had. And I would go back to that part where people could come here and live happily and not have to worry about anything. They can feel safe. I want them to have a place where they can feel safe at.
Okay.
Where they don't have to constantly be scared, oh well, am I gonna have to be sent back to a place where I am not happy? I want them to be generally happy here.
I can respect that. But for the sake of time and to get to everyone else, let's hear from Kitty or Justin.
I'm just the host for my sister, so I'm gonna let someone else have my turn.
Okay. Justin?
Okay. Just letting everyone know, I'm a guest. I'm formally part of the group, so I'm just a guest. But however, though, so speaking on what I think of politics between Democratic or Republic or whatever political system that there is, I see myself as a neutralist. Why? The reason is because I said before in many of my videos, and I'll keep repeating the same thing over and over again, so that way if new people decide to watch what I'm saying, the reason why I'm mostly a neutralist is because politics seems to contradict another person's point of views, whether it be Republican and Democrat. Republicans are out to ban gay marriage, and they're against abortion. Now, consider myself, there is one part of something that kind of resides of a Republican in me, is that I'm against abortions. To an extent, though, there is a major difference between what I believe and what a Republican believes in the time of abortion. Now, with Democrats, they are not opposed to gay marriage and support abortions. Now, the thing is, I do not oppose gay marriage because, you know what, homosexuals, other bisexuals, homosexuals, lesbians, they're pretty much human beings just like we are. I mean, there's really no difference into who we are. I mean, we're the same being. We breathe the same air. We live in the same planet. I mean, we shouldn't treat other people like they're abominations of the earth. That's just not how I think. That's when the Republicans start using the Christian ways of trying to justify their means, which is something I do not like when a Republican does. But with the Democrat, with the abortion thing, I only support I'm against abortion to an extent, though. When a baby is only 1 or 2 weeks away, okay, you got plenty of time, 1 or 2 weeks to abort the baby. When it's only like the size of a pea or something like that, or maybe even the size of a golf ball. But like when it's the size of a bowling ball, that's where I'd say, I don't know what to tell you, lady, but you had a couple of weeks to, to get rid of it, and I just believe you're just going to have to take it now since it's the size of a bowling ball. But now, if I had to choose between any of these political systems, I would rather go with capitalism. Now, if we all remember the argument between War Corps and Jim Profit, Miles Rebel, and all that, there was a statement that War Corps says that the difference between today and back then, that most kids from the 90s, I'm not saying all, but most, but I have seen it, have think communism would be the way to go. That, to me, it's just bullshit. I would rather be, as a neutralist, in a capitalist society, because at least in capitalism, despite some of the things that might be dirty about it, you can at least rank up in the world by starting from the bottom and making your way to the top. It seems fair enough, and that's what I would rather choose. I wouldn't rather be in a communist society where you would be, like World Corp says, if you worked as a doctor and you make the same amount of money as a person at McDonald's, about $6 an hour. That is just complete, tremendous horseshit. Please disregard my language there. That's just how I feel with politics. So the aspect of what I see of it is that capitalism gives chance. It gives people the opportunity to do what it is that they need to do or want to do if they want to achieve something, and it helps them climb up the ladder. Now, I'm also sticking beside Democrat and Republican stuff, despite how much I hate it, because at least it's better than the other political systems that I've seen. I mean, patriarchy, for instance, isn't that like when a man is actually above the stance of a woman?
Well, patriarchy is essentially when you have a single male, usually genetic figure at the very head who calls the shots due to his seniority.
Okay, so I'd rather be just a neutralist or maybe a capitalist Republican or a Democrat rather than be someone in a patriarchy system or a communistic system or a dictatorship or a fascist society. Those are the things I'm against. Fascism, communism, patriarchy, dictatorship, and what other types that is just beyond belief, completely terrible. Now, I do hate the Republican and Democratic Party, but I do not hate the person, but I just hate the beliefs that they try to justify what it is. It's mostly Republicans I have a problem with because they're using the Christian reasoning in order to justify their means. Now,
Okay.
as for which, before I end it off, and I'm sorry if I'm taking long, if I had to choose, I'd still be a neutralist because I want no part in politics, because I have nothing against homosexuals, but yet I do not condone abortions, but to an extent, though. I don't
I
know.
understand.
But if I would have to choose, I would go at least with a capitalist society because you can actually achieve something by climbing up the ladder.
I understand. I understand. Now, I guess I'll throw where I'm coming from out there. As I've stated in several of my rebuttals to, that
Jimbo.
guy. Yeah. I'm, I'll just say I'm an anarcho-syndicalist, which basically means I believe that everything should be run on a democratic principle in which it's one person, one vote, et cetera, et cetera. And honestly, at the end of the day, that might jive against what you hold in your beliefs, Metallica Guru, because honestly, under that system, you have equal opportunity, yes, but whatever's made afterward is distributed according to how the people think it should be distributed. I honestly believe that the capitalist system of producing goods and services and the principles that are used to govern it do not align properly in today's society, and there needs to be a radical change towards using the same principles that we use to govern our policies and our legislatures to govern how we make our things and how we serve each other. Because without us coming together in any form of collective understanding, we're not going to move ahead as a society. And I think that's what's lost, not only on the part of Republicans and Democrats today, but also on the part of the populace as a whole. I will leave the door open for criticism, and I can feel it coming. You may go.
How much time left do we have?
Say 20 minutes.
Okay, Anna, do you want to say anything?
Nah, I'm pretty much on the same page as both of them. I like both of their ideas. No. I would actually say combining both of y'all's ideas between the neutralist and what you said you are, combining and doing a radical change on this country would actually be more beneficial than anything. And it would help. In my opinion.
Okay. And I just like the one thing that I hope to dispel though at the end of the day is something that also seems to be like leached into everything that, you know, not only that I read in like magazines like The Economist, but like when I listen to like, you know, Obama or Romney, etc. It's this idea that there is some utopia at the end of the rainbow in which everybody is happy.
But that utopia will not come with Obama or Romney in office, in my opinion.
It won't come ever. And this is the reason I say that is because governments, authoritarian, what have you, are run by what? People. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we're all flawed. We all fight. We are all selfish in some way or another. The only thing we can do is try to mitigate it. Yeah, it's human nature. And that's why when people say we're going to have a utopia at the end of the rainbow, that suggests that everyone will think the same, everyone will be the same, everyone will have exactly the same. That's never going to happen. But what we can't do...
Yeah, I do agree there because people are too different.
Exactly. And that's why, like, for me, like, I don't think anarcho-syndicalism is going to fix all the world's problems. Do I believe that it will give people an equal footing, that they will be able to maybe talk it out and get what they need by working together cooperatively? Yes. And that, I believe, would be better than the way things are now under the capitalist democratic system or what have you.
Yes.
Yeah. Justin, any thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is before my thoughts contribute to this video, I would just like to say I did say that I do not hate the person, but I do hate the politician, even though that could actually contradict maybe what I'm thinking in a political standpoint here. But Romney, Rick Santorum.
Oh dear God! Do not start on Rick.
No. Just hold on. Ron Paul, Rick Santorum, Mitt Romney. I don't know who else, but so far that I have seen, those are probably the only politicians, maybe with the exception of Al Gore, are probably the only ones that I despise in both ways as human beings and as politicians. I mean, ever since the war between metal music and politics has actually made its point in time, this has caused a stir between that. But you know, even though that's long ago, it does make me think about how much has changed. But
Justin, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you forgot Michelle Bachmann.
Oh gosh, I can't believe I forgot her. Uh, but other than that, the reason why that politics was never my kind of thing in the first place, I've already explained the reason, because it always contradicts someone and it doesn't seem to give any solution to another side of the party. Now, take it alone, and maybe I get, yeah, take it alone. I don't think it would really contribute if it really always contradicted another one's point of view, because say you solve one part of the problem with your perspectives on how to achieve something, like you get rid of gay marriage, but yet it doesn't solve someone else's problem, like maybe the abortion problem. It seems like there's no balance to it anymore.
Okay. Um, Honestly, for me, I never take too much stock on these, and I hate to say it this way, but I honestly believe like with gay marriage and abortion, to an extent, they're fluff issues to me. Because, for instance, what does this honestly, marriage as an institution started simply to make things more stable, both economically and, socially. Okay. Not only that, but it came about vis-a-vis, religion, etc. But the state in general, at least the modern state, gives no fucks, pardon my language, on what what a marriage is. A marriage is just two people in a relationship who happen to pay taxes as a single unit. Congratulations. I feel like politics in general needs to move away from stuff such as that and towards like actual issues such as who gets to come into the country and why, such as how do we distribute our goods and services, such as how do we build the roads to get those goods and services to market, etc. It, and honestly, I think that politicians use issues such as abortion, such as gay marriage, to distract from that fact. Because they seem to be issues that could be answered pretty simply, to be frank. But that's my 2 cents.
I know Tyler's just a recorder, but would you like to say anything?
Okay. Kitty?
Personally, I do agree with you. These minor issues are being used as distractions. Um, for example, this week even applied to daily life. We use distractions to get away from the things we don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
And political standpoints, they are using this as a distraction or to um I'm sorry.
I'll take over.
Thanks, Nana.
From what she's trying to say, there's like with the gay marriages and the abortions, they are distracting themselves with something so unimportant to get away from the issues like the recession and the stuff like that that they don't really want to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And where she actually wants to go from there, I'm not sure. But in my opinion, that because I have a gay, both of my cousins are gay on both sides of my family, so quite honestly, I don't care. That's what they decide to do. They have their own rights to what they can do. It's them, that's their life. And as far as the abortions go, I disagree with it to a certain extent. Um, because well, like I said, I would not trade my 2 kids for the world. I would not change anything that I have done, but take it to somebody who say that How do I explain this? Like somebody who was raped and got pregnant and they didn't want to be, then that would be the only extension for me. Is
And I
it
agree with that.
that with
Yeah.
it? Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the hour does grow late, and so I will leave the floor open for closing comments. Let's begin with Justin since you went last.
Okay, so if I had to end things off, I'm just saying that, okay, to mash it all together, I'm against abortions to an extent, though. I do believe if a woman's raped, and actually, which reminds me, I also despise Richard Murdoch because he thinks rape is God's will, but oh well, because he's just a simple-minded fool. But the thing is
I agree.
that if a woman is raped and she is pregnant, I do believe that she has every right, because it's her body, to have an abortion. Now, if her baby has already reached the size of a bowling ball, I mean, I'm just saying, sorry, lady, you had 1 or 2 weeks to think. I mean, I understand if you're scared about something, that's completely fine, but it's better to actually get it out of your system rather than just keep it in you and then suffer through childbirth later on.
Yeah, I agree there.
But the thing is with gay marriages, the government thinks they have every single privilege just to decide what we're supposed to do with our own lives. That they have no what's the word I'm looking for? They have no right to tell us what we can and cannot do with our own life. Exactly. They have no business in our personal lives. They have no business with what we can do, what we listen to, what we see, what we want to hear, what we just privately do with our lives. And they secretly have, actually not secretly, they have no right to tell people, even genetically, if people were gay, they have no right to treat them as an abomination and say that they need to repent for their sins or else they're going to go to hell. That to me is complete horseshit. Although
I agree there too.
And yeah, just hold on, before I end things off, is kid still there?
Yeah, she is trying to give her cat medications.
Okay, so before I close this off, I'm a neutralist because I don't really like to side with any political party because, it's just complete utter chaos back and forth, and it does not help and solve everything. But however, though, if I would have to stick with anything, despite maybe some disagreements, but I can certainly agree with some points there, that I'd rather go in with a capitalist society. But I'm just a neutralist because I hate politics and all.
Okay, I can actually agree with you there. I just hate politics altogether too.
Yeah.
It just needs to disperse, and something needs to be brought back together that everybody else can agree on. In my opinion.
Okay, and to close my statement, I will just say that I believe that everything needs to be more democratic. I can see it happening in the near future given the technology we have. But at the end of the day, it is up to us as the people to work for this future. It's not going to happen just because I have suggested it or that any politician out there has suggested some new form of answering our problems. And so to all the neutralists, centralist capitalists, people just trying to work for a better future, I bid you good night as Grit 99 2003. I can't speak anymore. And so, everybody, say your good nights. That means you guys.
Good night.
Good night.